Alright, this is the new Bob Long MVP, the Marq Victory pump. Just got a few of these in. Can show you real quick what's going on with them. In the box, you get the gun. Really good looking gun. Really made very well. You get the cam drive on off, no macro line. There's a regulator inside of the frame. So to adjust the velocity, there's a regulator adjustment on the back of the frame. Real smooth pump. There's a lot of bearings in here. We'll go through some of that. I'll show you some of that stuff. But yeah, real tight, no movement, real smooth. Light, pretty short. What else? You get two extra springs, and these are, if you guys ever use like spider paintball guns, even autocockers, you know you can adjust the hammer spring to give you a different range of velocities. So that's what these are. And then you get looks like a 14-inch Bob Long. It's going to be a 685 14-inch Bob Long barrel. Other than that, you have your clamp feed, Bob Long clamp feed for your loader. Real nice trigger, also on bearings. Yeah, so let me put this aside and I'll disassemble one a little bit for you, give you an idea of how they're set up. So you can basically you can disassemble the whole gun with three Allen keys. Really probably two, because I'm going to take the grips off now and show you the regulator. You'll probably never have to do that. Alright, so this is the regulator. If you see this aluminum cylinder right here. Air comes in out of your tank and through the on-off, up through the reg. You can adjust it in the back of the frame, and then straight into the valve. So that's going to be your main adjustment for the velocity. Alright, so now I'm going to take I'm calling this the pump rail off. I guess it's kind of a part of the trigger frame. It's not the trigger frame though, because you can remove the trigger frame from this piece. This is like a rail that the pump rides in. So there's that. I'll show you this real quick. Basically, you have your sear that trips the hammer. You have part of your trigger, if you can make that out. There's a bearing sitting up top. Then you have one screw that goes down into the frame, and in the back you have one screw that goes up into the rig. The only time you'd ever need to take this frame off is if, I would assume, to mess with the regulator or the actual trigger and sear assembly. Other than that, you shouldn't have to mess with it. You can see this hole right here is where the air comes through. I'll show you on the other half. There's a hole right here, sorry, with a little air ring in it, and that's where the air goes into the valve. To show you a little bit more of how this is set up, to remove the actual pump arm, all you do is this little piece in the back, you pull up on everything and it comes right off. This piece has your two springs on it. You can remove these if you want. You can just take them off. If you don't want the pump to return on its own, I actually like the pump returning on its own. It feels really nice. For the auto trigger, you can even hold the trigger down, pull the pump back, and just let it go, and it'll shoot. Has enough tension to shoot the gun itself. As far as the actual pump and rail, pump arms got some grip tape on it, or the pump handle rather has grip tape on it. It's just screwed in. I'm sure you'll end up seeing some different style pump handles. The way the pump arm is set up, this first pin is what controls your bolt. These two rear pins are what controls the hammer. All of these screws that you're seeing, they're actually all different ball bearings. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different ball bearings. It looks like there's 2 on each side. So 4 on the top, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the right and 2 on the left for ball bearings. They're all held in by screws, so if you ever had a problem, you could remove and replace the ball bearing. They're not pressed in. They will be replaceable. And that's pretty much all for that. Now with the actual valve, at this point, you can just pull the valve right out of the body of the gun. What holds it in is the pump arm is what holds the valve in. So I'm going to show you the detent setup real quick. Something I haven't seen in a long time is he actually, if I can get it on there, you see on the bottom there, it's just a spring that's sitting in a groove. So it'll hold the paintball, not a lot of tension at all. It's not plastic or rubber, so it should never wear out. Really kind of cool stuff. Here is, you might be able to see again, also the air passage in the bottom. There's a little O-ring on there, so if you do take it apart, make sure you don't lose that little O-ring. There's the detent again. Alright, and then the actual valve, real simple. Looks like a lot of the other Bob-along guns, the Marqs and Victories and whatnot. The bolt just pulls off, no seals on the bolt itself. The O-ring is in the front of the breech that seals the bolt. The hammer you can remove out of the back. This is the springs that it came with. This is actually where you put them. This is the whole hammer, and there's that spring. So if you were out shooting and you were, say, shooting too low or too high for that matter, velocity wise, you can switch the spring up and it'll give you a different range of velocity that you can shoot. And obviously you don't need to disassemble the whole gun to do that. I'll open this up, show you the actual valve real quick. Just unscrews. This white plastic piece acts as a seal, much like the cup seals, the old Bob-along Intimidators. I'm sure there's a few other guns. And then you have this rod that just pulls out of the front, and that's just hollow with a couple O-rings in it. And the way this works is you get spring tension on the front of it to hold it back. When it's in the white plastic piece, you have a seal so no air is coming out. The hammer, when it comes forward, it actually pushes this rod up a little bit. Let me show you if I can. See, there's little holes in the end of that rod. So as soon as those holes clear that cup seal, it's gonna shoot. So that's basically the valve. Real simple design. Looks like it's gonna work real well. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna throw this thing back together, and then take a few shots. See how it works. Real quick, when you're assembling it, remember I told you the pump arm. You can see this groove in the bottom of the bolt. When you put it back together, you can put the bolt in backwards, so make sure that groove's at the bottom. And then you have this space at the front of the hammer. So when you put this pump arm back, you want to make sure that you're catching the bolt in that groove, which I just did not, and you're catching the hammer on the front of the hammer where that little space is. So yeah, there you go, all back together. Everything works good. So we'll go take it out for a shot.
100% old, fiery, pull-no-punches redhead. Yeah, Wendy's has a special roasting process that uses high-intensity heat to seal in the flavor. And the bone.
So, what are you going to do with all this newfound goodness?
Ask out that girl and my job to express my editorial viewpoint on the news. It's not entirely opinion, it's subjective. To give you an angle you might not have considered, to show you another side, create debate, and make us all more aware. I'm not out to win a popularity contest, but if I can make you think, then my column was worth writing. My role as a reporter, on the other hand, is to report the news. An objective analysis